Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. I want to give a huge shout out to all the empowered harmonizers who are steadily, surely making progress, putting pieces together with your healing and recovery as you understand the roots and the dynamics between relationships with people, oftentimes who are inundating you with manipulation that bypass or have broken you down your own critical judgment of yourself, your own self-assessment. It's sort of corroded or corrupted that, and you have then suffered as a result. So it's a huge shout out, much love to the empowered harmonizers here today. And I also want to give a huge shout out to those of you who have recently donated to the channel. Thank you so much. It is with so much gratitude and warmth and an honor and privilege to be able to serve you, discuss these topics that are very poignant, very sensitive, and oftentimes very pervasive, going on and taking place in your life for months, years, decades. And it's time to get some results. So thank you so much for your contribution and your comments. It lets me know that the content that we're bringing forth and discussing here is making a difference. That's the whole goal. And also, I've received a number of comments and inquiries as to how to donate to the channel. On the About section on our homepage here, there's a really tiny little donate now. It's a PayPal button, so you can absolutely positively make a donation to the channel and keep the channel alive. So thank you so much. And I want to get started now in understanding a little bit more in depth on a very frequent viewer question and comment that I'm receiving here. And that is understanding the sort of guilt or cognitive dissonance that takes place when you're in a relationship or even in a society, culture, or family or workplace for that matter, wherever you're kind of inundated and you are in a broken down state. In other words, your own internal mechanism for being able to allow and filter in what is positive and joyful for you and congruent with your own safety and your self-trust and belief and faith in all things around you and in your body and in your environment, because your body has an etheric field. So you have an energy field around you. So have you ever seen someone who's really busy and on their way to work and they're just focused, they're absorbed, they're pulled together, they know what they're doing. You can feel their energy, correct? You're like, wow, you can feel there's a strength there. And that person is operating in a sense of homeostasis and balance. They're regenerative. They're doing what their dream is. They're living the dream. They're living their good life. They're focused. They're being it on all levels, on all senses, meaning olfactory, gustatory, auditory, visual, kinesthetic. Their senses are in line, and it's like a well-oiled machine. They're on the go. And also then, have you been around someone who is broken down and homeless? Can you not feel kind of a sticky, icky feeling around that person, that it just is very thick? You can almost feel a heavy energy around them. So that goes to show that there's an etheric field or energy that is around your body. And so the individuals who are narcissists or psychopath, the people who are perpetrators or violators, they're able to pick people out and target them from a crowd. Any criminal who's in the incarcerated system, in the prison system, any hardened criminal can tell you that that's how they pick people out. They have a keen predatory sense. And so oftentimes the narcissist and most definitely the psychopath have that predatory sense. So they have seen a desirable aspect of you, or an opening, if you will, in that etheric field that said, I'm reaching in, I am going to target this person. So when you are in a broken down state, I have a lot of viewers who are in a PTSD state, a complex PTSD state, which means, your body is just kind of shut down. All its defenses are kind of pulled together. It's in an ultra defense mechanism mode. It's like we hear about shell shock syndrome for those people who've been through really traumatic situations as soldiers, Marines, the Navy, the Army, and they have to push their body to the extreme. Their psychology has been basically hijacked. And the reason why this is and why the guilt sets place is because this system has been bombarded when you were originally love bombed with a narcissist, or perhaps you were raised in this sort of family, or it's been so imbued in you, it's been so thickly indoctrinated into you, that you have then had to diminish or reduce or annihilate your own boundaries, your own sense of self-protection, and you've had to let them in order to please them. In other words, you became almost a hybrid to their energy. So you weren't able to experience your own energy because it was so tied to pleasing this person or trying to control the outcome of the relationship. I hear so many comments from viewers are like, I worked so hard. I was with this person for so long. I did everything I could. I fear I'm losing a great person, a great woman. I am in fear. So in other words, in that love bombing, then you have then in your mind, you have coded them or their energy as essential to your life, or more important than your own energy. So you haven't had a sense to feel your own self-trust and your boundaries, and then being able to enforce them. So there was, in the reason, they had in the love bombing and the brainwashing and all the entitlement that you had then succumbed to, either because out of being enamored, being love bombed, being emotionally manipulated, and as I say oftentimes, without your permission. In other words, you had this violation or seeping in, and it's really without your permission. But see, the narcissist or psychopath will break you down. In other words, cause you to not eat properly, or drink properly, or get sleep properly. Especially, eating healthy, having a good balance of energy and enough sleep, you are then, taught that you need to attend to what they have asking of what they're requiring of you. In other words, you've had to violate or break down your own homeostasis mechanism in order to please them. In other words, the filter for what was positive to you was just like blacked out. I need to do this. I want to do this. This is my dream. I can. I believe. I trust. Especially at the root of this is safety. So if your sense of safety has been tied to this person, so no wonder when this person is going, or when you feel that you have not pleased them, you feel that like your life source, your safety is not there as well. And so, but what I want you to understand is that then when you let go of them and then feel that this safety, this trust, this energy that is coming forth within you is your own and you own it, see, you're contradicting their story that they're telling of you yourself. So that's the whole conundrum. That's why the CPTSD, the post-traumatic stress syndrome, gets so set up, is because in that connection, you have tied your safety and your well-being to this person. So it was dependent on something, or you were led to believe it was dependent on something outside of yourself, when you indeed have it within, but you have not been able to see it. It's like a filter that has been blocked. Have you ever seen, gone to get your car taken care of, your oil changed, and then they tell you you need a new air filter, and it's already filtered out so much gunk, you need a new one. That's exactly what it's like coming through a relationship. And people are like, I love your analogies, peace and harmony. This is really true, because the filter that you have been able to open, that is God-given, that you don't have to work on, that is already inherent and installed within you, which is your huge consciousness, which can solve problems, which knows what's good for you, which knows and loves who you are, which trusts and has safety there, and then and then emits in the etheric body around it a feeling of safety and peace, and will then draw to it more of that which it is. So in other words, it's like, when you see, the beams, emanating from like, the sun, it's the energy or the safety very much radiates through your mind, body, and spirit in all of your cells in the same manner. But when you are broken down through the ways we've discussed by the narcissist. In other words, they've sort of corrupted the coding of that within your body, if that makes sense. And it's then caused this cognitive dissonance, which means you're not able to say no where no is needed to be said, saying stop when stop needs to be the behavior or action, or, I care for myself when indeed the other person was telling you that that is superfluous, you are insignificant, you are unimportant, I am more significant and better than you. And so it creates this uncertainty, which then goes, okay, and this is at the cellular level. These are in the beliefs that you don't even know about. So that's why it takes the time, it takes the consistency, and it takes the work to really eradicate that block from you. And if you can imagine that it is very much like a computer system, meaning that if you've ever seen a virus that kind of takes over all the different functions of the computer, the mind and psychology that is set up in that relationship is very much the same way. In other words, you're distracted by the pop-ups. You're distracted. If you've ever seen a virus in your computer, basically it shuts it down. And that's very much like what cognitive dissonance and PTSD is. It's like this virus which has taken place, which is basically founded in danger and threat and everything, is not okay. It's creating that whole phenomenon in that it affects your vision. It affects your olfactory system, your smell. You're not really able to kind of smell things in the beautiful way that they are and go, wow, that's beautiful. Or your olfactory, your taste sense, being able to taste it and enjoy in the pleasure. So the pleasure, becomes tinged with this guilt because you're slowly letting go of that which has caused the fear and that PTSD, because there is a causative factor that has set that into motion within you. So it is knowing that what's within you, it's sort of coded, if you will, like a computer code in like a holographic way, meaning kind of like a 3D, manner within you with which you're kind of like feeling, hearing it. And it's just like a corrupted little code that's like going within you in your thought process. So the way to get rid of that is to understand what it is, and how it feels, and how it sounds, and how it got in there by basically inundating you or breaking down your psychology beat. So you didn't have enough energy to be able to identify the filter was not clear enough to say, no, I deserve better. And then your body, you're moving on. Your internal generation of your solar plexus, the energy that is within all areas of your body, especially around the spinal cord and the central nervous system, which are all connected. See, all that has then put the feeling deep into your muscles, deep into your thought process, into your consciousness. And essentially that's where the guilt is then set forth. Guilt means, I can't have this. I mistrust my judgment. So that's how it is set up. And then the PTSD just keeps wiring and firing like just an automatic loop. It just keeps playing it again and again. So it is that loop that you need to shut down. And it's that loop which it basically, when you get a hold of it, if you think of that loop and what it's said, what it's done, it's like the very critical advisor. It's getting a hold of it and seeing what the feeling is, and then saying, okay, I can really make it bigger. Whoa, that's really scary. Or I can shrink it down, and basically crumble it up in my hand. And I can pressurize it so that it's really not even within my body right now. In other words, getting all that out through your conscious awareness, which is the steps that we're doing. And then really just sort of taking a staple gun and just ridding out of it, just throwing it way behind you, and then bam, 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 just annihilating it away, just getting like almost like a staple gun. If you could shoot out staples and just staple it way into the past where it can never come back. In other words, the staples are so thick and they're so embedded that it cannot come back. It can never come back. And once that staple gun really gets it out, it's a feeling that you have ridded yourself of that other voice, of that other presence, really of that other energy that is within the person and has caused sort of that memory to be embedded within you. So it's now allowing you that opportunity to now come into your own body and have your muscles and your breathing to be the way that you want it to be. So your senses can then have a clear filter. And people say, oh my gosh, it's so amazing to be able to give myself a clear filter because I did not have permission for that before. See, that the whole reason, and we're going a little bit long today, is that the narcissist and the psychopath had found a way to basically have your permission to make you feel bad. In other words, you had to allow that in. You had to make a silent agreement with them at some point on the journey. If you did, you can just say, I get it. Whether it was, you didn't tell them that, but it was in it, you spoke this words to yourself. See, but the word is law. And if you make a silent agreement with somebody that they are better, more powerful, or else all this trauma is going to ensue, do you see how the trauma is continued or saved or stored within your body? And that's what I talk about, the quantum field. So once you're able to get rid of that and kind of say, okay, my feeling that critical, let's just call it a critical advisor. That's why I say it's very important. People, viewers on the channel really want to label the narcissist. They want to get a label for it. They want to feel it, touch it. So if you can just, get a label for it. This fear, this hurt, this critical advisor, this narcissist, this borderline, this psychopath. And then being able to get sort of just a really tangible feel of it and get a control where you can make it really large in your life, or you can then just shrink it down to the size of a postage stamp. And then just throw it behind you, literally, energetically, holographically, because that's how your mind works. And just staple it back in behind you. It will be gone if you put it way behind you. The body works in an etheric field, so it radiates out in all directions. It's not like your energy stops at your back and only goes one way. Your energy emanates through all directions. Wow, this is deep, intensive stuff. So when you're able to radiate in all directions like that, that positivity and that knowing, when you own that boundary now, when the narcissist comes back, they will not be able to enter into that pure, peaceful space. In other words, I call it, just kind of coming back into your body. We're able to kind of feel safe. When you had been, sold a story or a line by a narcissist that you had to be afraid or else. You better, cock an eye to me or else. You must attend to my smirk or else. You must give me this, sex, money, whatever it is, changing yourself to accommodate them. So you had switched that around. So it's like calling it back home to yourself and allowing that to be your home, and to know that you and will now attract all that and have that and be able to have those who you can then draw to in that safe place where the trauma is gone. It is behind you. It is outside of your energy field, and that there's no guilt. The guilt is just a trick to make you feel like you're unworthy, but that is part of that whole trauma that they're trying to say. It's all part of that. It's all part of their manipulation. So when you can have courage, and I had a viewer say, courage is the new black. They said, tell that to your viewers and they will get it. And if you've watched this far, I hope you get it. And if you can repeat again, I get it, then we'll know. Courage is the new black. In other words, it's coming into that and knowing that you have the importance and the significance, and it's not installed within them, it's within you, and it's getting that code, all that encoded negativity, and purging it out. I mean, just getting it out, pulling it out like a picture almost, and being able to, scrunch it down and then throw it behind you. It's literally an exercise of higher consciousness, and really that results in the quantum healing. And it's a very strong energy work. And I hope that these videos do help and help you to understand that you have a supreme place, and you must feel it within and begin your journey moving in the now and in the forward, and not letting, and then that way when you maintain that and call that forth again and again, you have to wash, rinse, repeat. In other words, you have to continue to do this, and you will own the healing. And life will bring you the inspirational images where you go, oh my gosh, it'll give you the magic. Ask life, the higher intelligence, to show you a sign that you are on the right path and that you are there to fulfill your dreams, and know what your dreams are. It's like that little tingle that goes, that's right. That is the real me. That's the real me that they might not know about, and that's okay. They don't need to know about that. And then, that is really how I was able to enter into a creative space where I was able to create multi-million-dollar new product innovations. Intellectual property that was given to other corporate companies was by entering into this space that we're talking about right now. It was able to change really the marketplace, and I'm going to leave that those products and those intellectual properties and trademarks to those corporate, but I'm incorporating it in the book that I'm writing because I feel it's so important. I don't feel it's something, they say the secret, the manifestation. I don't feel it should be kept secret. I feel that I want to help those people who have been hurt by others and not been allowed to experience life in that productive, glistening, magical way. That is the gift that I wish to give to you today here in this video, and I hope that these videos do help. Much love to the Empowered Harmonizers. Please share, please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.